This is the drain plug on the gearbox of my TD5, what I've run for 9 years. There are particles on the end of it. Now Land Rover recommend changing the oil on the gearbox every 24,000 miles or every 2 years. But what they don't tell you is what are these particles and how did he build a picture of the gearbox. Today I'm going to build a picture of how to analyse the gearbox drain plug particles and build a picture of the wear and tear, what's going on inside the gearbox, whether it's from wear and tear or impending disaster. Today we're going to be looking at the actual particles and obviously changing the oil on the gearbox itself. So stay with me on this one, you don't want to miss any of it. Before I get into the oil change of the gearbox, did you know over 90% of people who watch my videos aren't actually subscribed to the channel? It would really help me out if you could hit the subscribe button, and if you love Land Rovers as much as I do, then join along with me. Now the gearbox oil is really easy to change, but before you actually start thinking about changing it, there are a few specialist tools you do need. One of them is a T55 Torx fitting. So I've got an adapter, a 1/2 inch, what goes into my socket. So that is for the filler plug. You need a 32mm ring spanner for the drain, or if you take the prop off, you can have a 32mm socket. But without taking the prop off, it's a really hard task to put a socket onto the drain plug. Always take off the filler plug before you take the drain plug off, just in case the filler plug doesn't actually come off and you have no oil in your gearbox then. So the gearbox oil, it's MTF 94 and it comes in 1 litre tubs, which is slightly annoying. It would be nice if it came in like 500ml, because the gearbox takes 2.38 litres of oil, so 2.4 litres. I've still got a tiny bit left over, which is over here from the last time I did the gearbox, but I'm just going to put fresh oil in. I'm not going to mess around with the old oil. I'll probably just bin that. I don't know why I kept it. I suppose maybe it's just a top up or in case things went wrong, but you'll notice it has actually got a spout on the end of this bottle, and that would be really handy if you could actually get this into the gearbox, but you can't on the TD5. And the reason why is because the prop's in the way and it's quite a high fill, so you would kind of be like, yeah, it wouldn't really work, to be honest. So the specialist tool you do need for this, because these aren't very useful for the TD5, is you need a suction device. This is basically like a reverse grease gun in a way, and all you do is you just suck the fluid up. So I've got a little bit of fluid in here now, and obviously go to the fill plug and just push it all in and it goes down. So things like that, and that's how you fill the gearbox up on the TD5. Now the torque figures for the fill plug are 30 Newton meters, and you want to be putting a little bit of Loctite 290 on the threads of the fill plug. Now this isn't always essential. I've heard of people not actually putting anything on them and it being okay, but I would always err on the side of caution and put some on. And what you have to be careful with as well is that, although yes, it does say 30 Newton meters, but if you keep screwing it and keep screwing it and keep screwing it and keep screwing it, it will actually fall inside the gearbox. So, get it to a point where you think it's fine and think it's flush, and don't keep screwing it in until it like disappears, because it will fall inside the gearbox. And that would be really, really bad, because you'd have to take the gearbox out just for the fill plug. Not the best design, but just be careful putting that gearbox filler plug back in. The actual drain plug, if you do actually take the prop off, a new copper washer as well, which I do have. It's 50 Newton meters, which is really high. I haven't actually taken the prop off, so I'm just going to do it up with a ring spanner, just a nip up like I did with the engine sump bolt. So that's my personal preference. I'm telling you by the book, it's 50 Newton meters for the drain plug with the new copper washer. Now you can actually get away with using old copper washer. I've got a new one here, and this is £4. This is a really expensive copper washer, but you can actually get away with using the old one if you get a blowtorch and get it cherry red, and then either quench it or let it cool naturally. You basically annealing it to be used again, get it softer as well, and it basically gets it to be able to crush again and make a seal. So you can reuse copper washers, but you do need some pretty heavy duty blowtorch action on the go. My blowtorch probably won't get it hot enough. It's just a little portable thing I've got. It's not an actual oxyacetylene blowtorch. But other than that, if you've got all these things, then you're ready to go. And there's one thing I should say is, I'm getting all these oils and lubes and disposable things online as well, just like everyone else. So I have put a description in the video. So if you do want to either support the channel or just convenient for you to buy it straight away, I've put 3 options for the NTF 94 in the description. I put genuine Land Rover, the car lube stuff that I've used. I think this is fine. They've actually changed branding a little bit, haven't they, since the last time it was done? But I think this is fine, and the gearbox is totally fine as well. And there's another one as well, what I'll put in Smith & Allen, I think it is. So 3 different oils to suit all budgets. And if you click in the description below, it helps the channel out as well. And I also genuinely buy these oils online as well. So whatever I put in the description, any of my videos, I've always bought this or will consider buying it online. Now, before I drop the oil on the gearbox, I've taken a Landy out for about a 15-minute drive, cycling through all the gears from low speed to high speed, and also reverse as well, obviously going back onto the driveway. So you want to be getting the oil working, you want to be getting the gears working, making sure the gearbox is actually warmed up before you actually drop the oil. It just gets the oil nice and loose and nice and thin as well for it all to come out nicely. You want to be careful with the gearbox oil when you actually drop it, because like the engine, it can get very hot and obviously cause burns and scalds and things like that. So it runs about 95 degrees, so that's pretty hot. So when you get it back, give it a few minutes to cool down, obviously, before you drop the oil. I also can't stress enough, make sure you undo the fill cap first before you undo the drain cap. And this is in case for some reason only known to Land Rovers that the fill cap doesn't come undone. It's a slightly different design to the drain plug. It's an actual taper design rather than an actual full-on like knot. And it's also got a Torx fitting as well, so the Torx fitting can round. And it would just be a really bad day if you could not refill the gearbox and basically put your car off the road. So that way, if you take out the fill plug first, you can then make sure your Landy is going to be still roadworthy. Obviously, if you can't get the fill plug out and you still have the drain plug in, you still have the oil in, you can still drive it around and then make a better plan of how to tackle it then, rather than just be stuck in a situation you might need the vehicle tomorrow or the same day. So it's just a logical part of draining this sort of system on the gearbox. Always undo the fill port first, and that goes the same for the transfer box as well. Always undo the fill plug first before you undo the drain plug and drop all the oil. So you can see up here, this is obviously the drain plug here with the copper washer on it. I've put my socket on just to show you can see it a little bit better. But there's the T55. It's got a little bit of a give to it. So you want to be kind of like, make sure you balance the actual socket properly when you get your ratchet on it, just so it spreads its load evenly on the Torx, because they are very easy to round, which is a bit of a disadvantage of the Torx fittings. But yeah, make sure this comes undone first before you even attempt to undo this. Mine was maybe a little bit tight. I managed to crack it now, and got some spanner ash as well for my compensation of undoing the bolt. But that's just part and parcel of having something like this, and especially in a screw what's hard to access as well. Make sure you clean your drip tray as best as you can, because we are wanting to actually examine what comes out of the gearbox oil. Everything may not be on the actual magnetic plug, so some things may drop into this, and we want to be looking to see what is actually dropping into this to see if we can examine what's going on inside the gearbox. Now I just took out the fill plug then, and you can see the drain plug still in place. So there's a little bit of overspill coming out of the fill there. Not loads, but enough to probably coat your garage floor in oil. So just be aware that you do need a drip tray underneath when you take the fill plug out. Now the drain plug is slow going with the actual spanner or ring spanner, so you don't get too many turns on it before you hit the front cross member. If you did have a 32mm ratchet spanner, that would be ideal, or if you had the patience to take off the actual prop, then you could get a socket straight onto it. But I'm just going to persevere with my my spanner, and it'll take a while, but I'll get it off. Okay, so I'm going to try and do this one-handed while filming. But I really want to be careful taking this plug out. It's obviously going to drip everywhere as well. So I've got a magnetic steel rule here. I'm just going to go along all of it, seeing what I can pick up, if anything. So it's basically what I've already got on the end of the drain plug there. A few shards here and there, you can see it shining in the light. Pretty much nominal wear and tear, to be honest, out of the gearbox, and also nominal wear and tear out of the actual drain plug as well, the magnetic drain plug. This is quite handy. This is a 10 times geo hand lens, and obviously jewelers use them as well for looking at diamonds and things like that, and geologists use them for obviously looking at rocks and see what minerals inside of rocks. But it's handy for this specifically, this drain plug, because what we want to be looking for, we want to be looking for like speckles of brass, and the speckles of brass would indicate wear on the actual synchro ring. Obviously brass is about a 3 on the Mohs scale. Carbon steel is about 4 on the Mohs scale to 8. So, you know, it's high carbon steel in the actual gearbox mixed with brass as well. So obviously the brass is going to wear before the carbon steel does. It's just the way the metal works. It's more malleable to allow it to actually sink into the actual gear. So that's what it's designed for. When you actually change gear, the Baulk ring, the brass Baulk ring sinks into the actual gear to give you a smooth change. Now, if you're getting crunching and things like that, you may expect this plug to have chunks of actual carbon steel. And that's what the hand lens is for. So I've looked through it now for about 5 minutes and I can't see any speckles of brass or anything like that. So there's nothing really going on in my gearbox other than normal wear and tear. But this is just more of a FYI for your sort of gearbox as well. If you do get obviously chunks bigger than kind of like 3 mil of carbon steel, that's when you kind of begin to realize how your gearbox is wearing. So I've just cleaned all the magnetic plug now, and these are the 2 bits here on the end of my finger. And the camera focuses. This is the 2 bits here, what were the actual biggest bits of debris inside the gearbox. I obviously can't put it on the end of the ruler because the ruler is magnetic, so they'll just go onto it. But I'll try and get the camera to focus. It's looking at about 2 millimeters for the biggest bit. What I could find just on the end of my finger, the 2 bits there. Now I would say this is completely normal wear and tear. Anything more than 3 millimeters and anything more than, you know, just the odd few shards, then you start to think, yeah, my gearbox is obviously wearing a bit more. But, you know, after 20,000 miles, I'm pretty happy with that. That's the 2 biggest bits I could find in the whole thing. If the brass Baulk rings are more worn than the actual gearbox as well, you may encounter hard shifting, especially at low RPM. When you're actually rev matching, the need for the brass Baulk rings isn't really required because, you know, the rev matching, you can effectively drive the TD5 and any Land Rover Defender by that means, and also any car and lorry as well. It's why you double declutch on things like lorries and heavy goods vehicles, and it basically just gives a bit more mechanical sympathy for the gearbox itself to allow it to synchro in better. Now, obviously, if you are getting crunching gears and things like that, this is more of a wear on the actual ring and also the wear on the gear itself. So when the actual brass ring goes onto the gear, it's kind of like a tapered surface to allow it to actually go into the gear itself. And you may get the actual chunks coming away of the brass or chunks coming away of the gear as well, depending how obviously you're crunching the gears. Now, this drain plug is obviously designed to be looked at more in depth rather than just like pulling it away and sticking it back in and saying, yeah, it's fine. Mine is completely fine. Total just normal wear and tear on that. In here as well, there was barely any particles what came off on the oil, but yours might be different. And this is what I'm saying. Every gearbox is obviously different. Every driver is different. Every story of the Land Rover is different. It may have more towing, more power, things like that. Or it may not have been changed in its life. You may have only just got your TD5 or your Defender, and the previous owner had just not changed the gearbox. So when you come to do it, you may have swarf and things like that. You know, a good sort of like half finger high on this plug. My last one, I'll put it on screen now, was a lot worse than this. I think the previous owner hadn't done it before. But if you are noticing quite heavy particles on this as well, and also chunks in the actual oil while it's dropping as well, there's nothing really much you can do about it other than be aware of it. What I would do personally, if I had more chunks in my gearbox or drain plug, I would do more frequent changes. I would probably change it once a year when I'm changing engine oil, or if it's that bad, maybe once every 6 months, depending on your mileage. Obviously, if you're only doing 500 miles in them 6 months or 1,000 miles, there's not really much point. But if you're doing like between 5 to 6,000 miles in them 6 months, or you're doing a 10,000 mile a year average, then it's worth changing maybe every 6 months, and just do it for a few cycles, so it can just so you can monitor it as well and keep an eye on it, and probably take a picture of each time you do it, and then you can compare and contrast and see how many particles, you know, the ratio, if there are any brass ones or any carbon ones and things like that. So there's a lot more to it than just draining the actual gearbox oil. There's more forensics involved in it. I'm obviously not sending it off to a lab to get it analysed. I don't see the need for mine personally. You can do if that's what you really want to do. But there's definitely more involved to it than just draining the oil and sticking the actual magnetic plug back in the gearbox. As per the same with the engine oil, these drip trays are really handy to have. It's got a funnel end of it. You can just get an old decking oil tub and then just dispose of the oil at your nearest tip. That's 2 litres now put in it, so obviously I've got 0.4 litres to go. So you don't actually need to jack the vehicle up, you can just lie underneath it and get there. You obviously want it on flat level ground for sure. It wouldn't make any sense to not have it on flat level ground. But what I would recommend is don't get greedy with this syringe. Only take about 300 to 400 mil at a time, possibly 200. It's quite an effort to actually get it sucked up, and you obviously just want to be putting it slowly into the gearbox, otherwise it'll just backfill and fall out. So just nice and easy. It takes a long time to get the actual 2.5 litres of oil into this gearbox, a lot longer than you think, possibly 20 minutes of just persevering, filling it, putting it back in, syringing it. And I haven't filmed much of it because it's a very messy job and my hands are clad in oil and I film on my phone, so I don't really want to get oil everywhere. So yeah, messy job, slow job, just be patient and you'll get there. So that's the gearbox oil now replaced. It's a bit of a shame, obviously these only come in 1 litre tubs, because I've obviously got, you know, just over 0.5 mil left because it takes 2.4 litres of oil, the gearbox. But I will probably just keep that for another time. Yeah, the next time I do it, I'll probably need binning anyway because it'll be too old to actually use again. But yeah, that's it done. Like I said, just take your time doing it. It's not a difficult job. It is a messy job. And once again, I probably need to wash these, especially after the underseal of the Ford Ranger. I literally just had washed them and then back to oily jobs again. So I think I'm going to enjoy my cup of tea now, and I hope you found this video helpful. And if you haven't already subscribed, like I said, please do consider subscribing, and please do like the video as well if you have enjoyed the video. And I'll see you for the next one.